All right, so if you went to that URL, go ahead and click on the link there for the resource doc. That'll take you here to this Google Doc. This contains everything that we're going to be covering today. Down at the bottom, I have some links. You can see those buttons. The first one on the left, Slides Help. That's from Google. So if you need to go beyond what I teach here today and want some Google-branded resources, those are there. There are some resources, some assets that we're going to be working with, and those are located inside a shared Google Drive folder. And if you click on that link right there, that'll take you right to that folder. So if you want to take a few seconds right now getting there and then downloading those resources, you can. You can see it'll just take you to this directory here, and any one of these you can download to your computer or add to your drive. All right, that's just practice files that we can play around with. That's all those are. All right, and then at the end of the session, we have the training certificate, and you'll click on that link there. When we're finished, it'll take you to a Google form. You fill it out. It'll generate a nice certificate in PDF format. It'll email it to your inbox, and you can have that as record of your having attended. Okay? All right, so having said that, let's go ahead and get started with Google Slides. How we're going to get there, we can actually get to it a couple different ways. The easiest way, in my opinion, is just to enter it, or if you have it bookmarked, it's going to be slides.google.com. Okay, so slides.google.com. Any Google service you can access by typing the name of the service followed by .google.com. So if I wanted to go to Docs, Megan, where would I go? What would I enter? Docs.google.com, right? Same with Sheets.google.com, Drawings.google.com. So here we are, Slides.google.com. Okay? And once here, you're able to go through the template gallery. You can also access all the slide presentations that you may have worked on in the past. They're arranged by whether they're owned by you, and you can see that those little options right there. So here it says owned by me. If you click that, you can set it to owned by anyone, which will include you and other folks, or strictly not owned by you. Okay, that's going to be entirely up to you. Okay? All right, we're going to start. Actually, before we get into the blank presentation, I do want to show you the template gallery. All right, so that's going across the top here. There's a little icon on the right. It says template gallery. Click that, and it's going to show you some general templates that you can pick from and choose from. These are very similar to what you might find in PowerPoint or Apple's Keynote. All right, they're sort of broken down by category there. And then you have templates that are specific to Alcoa City Schools, and we don't have many. And I think I may have put put one of them in there a while back. So what happens whenever you click on a template, it creates a copy of that template and it puts it inside your drive. You then own that. It's yours. All right? Okay, let's go back out of the template gallery, and we'll start with a totally blank presentation. Okay? So click that icon and it'll take you right here. Okay? So we have this plain white background here. This is a blank canvas ready for us to make our masterpiece. But if it's a little bland, if you want to maybe dress it up a little bit, you can work with a theme. And you're going to see themes over here on the right. You can see the current theme is using the Simple Light theme. You can see that label there. And you can scroll down, and you can see there are actually many more themes that you can pick from. Click on any one of these and it will automatically change the look and feel of your presentation. This changes the color scheme as well as the font style and font colors that are used in your presentation. All right, and you can actually go back and forth in between themes. So if you clicked on one and then you decided, you know what, I don't really care for it, I want to go back to something that's a little more simple, you can just come back here to themes and click on that. All right. So over on the left-hand side, This is going to be sort of known as your shelf. This is where, or your film strip, this is going to be where all of your slides are going to appear. And right now we have one slide in our presentation. If we want to add another slide to our presentation, you'll see this little plus symbol right over here. It says new slide. So if we click that plus symbol, it's going to automatically create a new slide for us. Now you can see it shows this specific layout. So it has a large text box over here and then a space over here on the right for which you can add, body text if you want to. All right. You can actually change that by coming back over here to the plus symbol, clicking that drop-down menu, and see there are different layouts that you can pick from. All right. So maybe we want to choose this caption layout. See what that does? That actually creates a new slide with the new layout. Now, if you want to change the layout of an existing slide, you have to first click on the slide here, and then on your menu, you'll see the layout option. Click it, and then you can choose from any other layout that is a part of this theme. Does that make sense? Yeah. And each of those layouts have a specific name. You just click on it, and it'll change it for you. And no saving. Everything is saved on the fly, and it remains in your Google Drive until you delete it. All right, so that's really quickly. That's a little bit about how you can change the appearance. But actually, I should have said that before you get into that, you can actually go in and change the setup of your presentation. The way we do that is by going through the File menu. So let's all click there. Go to File, and then we'll go down here to Page Setup. All right. Now you have to think about in terms of what will people be viewing this presentation on. Is it going to be a widescreen display? Is it going to be like a smaller monitor? And based on that, you should choose which type of screen aspect ratio you'll select. I like to joke that standard 4:3, that was what we used years ago, a couple decades ago. Not really used a whole lot here unless you have an older projector or an old TV. So I'd stay away from that. Widescreen 16:9 is perfect. All right, 16:9 is slightly different, but you also have the option to go into custom, and you can set the length and width manually. Make it whatever you want, and you can see that this is set by inches. And I've actually had folks who have used Google Slides to create documents, and so what they've done is they've just changed the slide size here. All right, so what's the dimension of a piece of paper? It's 8.5 by 11, right? All right, so if I went 11 by 8.5 and I clicked apply, whoops, you know what? I did that wrong. I had it backwards. I'll go back to page setup. 8.5 times 11. There we go, see? Now I could actually, it's really nice when you have this dimension because Slides works really well with graphics and image and object placement. So you can put things exactly where you want them to go and don't have to worry about some of the issues you run into with word processors, with alignment and text wrapping and things like that. Okay? So that was all in page setup. All right? If we go back there to page setup, you'll also see, and we should have, okay, you're going to have the print preview. So this is going to show you what it's going to look like when the document is printed. And if you have lots of slides with lots of information, you can actually download this as a PDF. You can have your notes included as well. All right, you can close out of the preview just like so. All right, I'm going to undo what I just did by just using the arrow keys. We're back to the way it was. I got one slide here. All right. First thing you want to do after you create a presentation is name it. So the way you do that is just click up here in the title, and I'll call this My Great Presentation. Now you can see it's going to automatically save it right there in your My Drive. But if you have a folder inside your drive where you plan on keeping all your presentations, you can actually put it in that specific folder. And all you have to do is click that icon, and then it's going to bring up your drive, and then you can just drill down and get to any folder that you've already created. So I have a folder already created that's labeled slides. So I see it right there. I've also got it colored. I can click on it, and then I can move this file there. I can still work on it, but that just refers to where it's being saved. All right, so if I want to get back to it later, I'll know where it is. Make sense? Everything is in our drive, though. All right, so we're not moving it out of our drive. This is a folder inside our drive. Okay? All right, so I already talked about themes. I already talked about layouts. This is a fun little trick here. So if you'll go back to the resource doc, you'll see here that we've got some third-party themes that we can actually use here. Now watch. If you don't care for all of the themes that are available here in our existing presentation, all right? So if I go to theme and you're looking through these, you're like, yeah, those are great, but it's really not what I'm looking for. We've got this link over here, and if you click on it, third-party link, look here. I'll go ahead and say agree. This is a great site that contains lots of wonderful themes that you can go ahead and use. All right, so make sure you're set to look at all templates, and the way this works is you just scroll through here, and I like to go to the popular templates first. And here's one. You can pick any one of these. There's some education ones down there as well. So if I said, you know what, I want to browse through some of the technology themes, I'll click that category and look at all these. Boy, some of these look really nice. I'd like to maybe use some of these as my own. Now what you want to do on this page is look at the little icons, and where you see a little yellow icon, that means there's a template available as a Google slide. All right, so let's say I like this one right here. Watch how this works. If I click on it, it's going to take me to the next screen, and then I'll click Google Slides. All right, then I'll say make a copy. It's going to take that presentation, and it's going to bring the copy right now into my Google Drive. And now I have that presentation. At this point, I can do whatever I want to it, make whatever change that I want to it. You can see that all the layouts are there. I can pick from those. It didn't cost me a thing. And all of the items are able to be, usually at the end, they have an icon set that you can work with. Let's see if they do in this case. Oh yeah, and it looks like those are all grouped together. Yeah, and all of these can be used individually, it looks like. Yeah, this was a great one right here. So if you have a collection of these and you want to work with them, let me show you what that's going to look like. So I'll come back over here to, I'll start a new presentation. All right, then I'm here in themes. Now I've already saved a bunch of these templates prior to this session, and I put them in a specific folder. And I want to take one of those themes and apply it to this slideshow. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go down here to the very bottom, decide, you know what, I don't like any of these, I'll click Import Theme. So if I choose that, I can go inside my Presentations folder. Here's some of the ones that I've already chosen. Here's a Jeopardy theme, look at this. I can choose that and then click Select. I'll confirm here on this page, and I'll say Import Theme, and it's going to import all the content there. So when I add a new slide, I have the option to pick any one of these layouts here. Look at these, and it's already done for me. All right, pretty nice. And this particular template is cool if you want to have like a review game or build something like that. It's pretty slick. Any questions about how we do that? This is really just if you find the options, the creative options limiting, in Google Slides. You can access more options by importing new themes and taking advantage of other sites like this.
So the one that had all the different like icons on it.
Yeah.
And they like gave you the extra pages at the bottom. Can you like copy those and then paste them in another presentation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So if I opened up what Megan was asking, if I opened up one of those other presentations here, okay, I think it was this one here, yeah. I could open that up, and not just in Slides. You could copy that into any other Google Doc. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let me go down here to the very bottom, and let's see if I can grab any of those. Yeah, so if I wanted to grab that guy right there, Command C to copy it, then I can come back over here, Command V, and there it is. See? I can use that in Google Docs, I can use it in Google Sheets, Google Drawings. Of course, you can resize it if you want to. A lot of possibilities here. All right. Whenever I'm teaching, I like to start with totally blank presentations. All right.
Tom, was sorry. What did you?
So text editing is actually very, very simple. On the slides that already have layouts applied to them in order to manipulate the text or change it, just simply click in the text box and start typing. Just like so. To change the text, you're going to select your text, go up to your toolbar up here, and you can choose different fonts. To increase the size of the font, just click the plus symbol right here on your toolbar. That will increase it. You can change the color of it. You can rotate this. Just look for that little dial on the top of the text box. You see mine right there? If I put my cursor right on there, then I can drag it in one direction or another. See? Remember, if you don't like what you did, you can always undo it. Redo, undo. All right. With the text box selected, on your toolbar, you can go to Format Options, and you can do other things, such as applying a drop shadow. See what I just did there? Anytime you see a little arrow, it means there's more options. So if you click that, look at what we can do. We can change the color of the shadow. We can adjust the angle, the distance from the text. See that?
How'd you get that?
Oh, okay. Let me show you one more time. All right, so I'm going to select the text box, and then we'll click Format Options. Do you see that?
I think it's the three little dots.
You just click on your text box and then choose Format Option. Oh, you just weren't seeing all of them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's a good point. So if your screen is a certain size, you might not see all of them. Click the three dots to see all of them. Yeah. So drop shadow. You want to first enable the shadow, so you check that, and then you can adjust things like the transparency, the angle, the blur radius. Look at that. You can give it a reflection. You can do lots of fun things here that years ago would take you a long time to achieve. Now it just takes you a couple clicks. Of course, you can always undo those. You can manually put in sizes, your dimensions right there, or if you're working with word art, you can actually click and drag and it'll resize it for you. All right, which leads me to my next point, and that is inserting objects. All right, so for this I'm going to add a new slide. So I'll choose the blank layout here. So now I have two. Here's my first one. Here's my second one. All right. Click on Insert. Okay. Here are some things that you can add. You have lines that you can add. curves, polylines, scribbles. You can do that. You've got shapes up here. So let's say I wanted to add a star. I'll go over here to the star option. I'll click it. And then I'll have to just draw it. So I'm going to click and hold, and if I hold down the Shift key, that's going to result in a shape that has just the right dimension. See that? That's the key. Hold down Shift while you're resizing, and it maintains its aspect ratio. Now once you have your shape on there, you may notice there's this little dot, this little yellow dot on there. That means it can be changed slightly. So in this case, it's going to allow me to change the width of the points on the star. Watch this. I click here. See what it does? That little yellow dot right there lets me do that whenever I click on it. Then of course I can change the color if I want to. Here's the fill color. Can choose a fill color, the color of the line that's going around this, as well as the width of the line going around it. I can rotate this. Again, click on that dot. There we go. You can copy and paste your objects. Command C, Command V. There. I've got 2 of them now. Command V again. Now I got 3. You can then group them together. You got to select them first. So the way you select them is just drag around them. Look at there. I've got them all selected. With them selected, Control click, and then you can group them. Now you can resize all of them at the same time. You want to ungroup them? Control, ungroup. Now you can manipulate each one individually. All right. To get rid of any object, just select on them, strike the delete key, and they're gone. It's simple. Megan's playing with smiley faces there. You can actually change the smile to make it a frown. You can make it a frown. Yeah.
Or a straight face.
That's true. You can. All right. So beyond the simple shapes that I just showed you, you can also insert audio and video and pictures. Okay. So if you go back to the Insert menu, you'll see that there's the Image option. If you wanted to take a quick picture of yourself, you could use the Camera option right there. It'll use your webcam, and you can snap a photo, and that'll bring it right there. So let me just go ahead and use that. I'll say Camera. You may have to allow permissions, reposition it. All right, I'll give it a thumbs up. Okay, got it. Click Insert, and there it is. Okay, I'm getting rid of that. Yeah. Okay. So Insert, Image, and then you would choose a camera. You could also search the web for a picture. So if I chose Search the Web, all right, let's see if I do a search for a lion, see what we come up with. Oh, here's a good photo. I'll just click on him and then click Insert. There's a picture of a lion on my slide. Of course, I can resize that picture if I want to. Just like so. I can even crop that picture. All right. So maybe I just wanted the lion's eyes. Watch this. I'm going to select the picture. You see your formatting toolbar here? There's this little tool. It's called the Crop Image tool. If we click that, that's going to allow us to cut away parts of the picture. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off that bottom part and then the top part, just like so. There we are. Now I'm going to resize it all the way to the edge there. all the way to the edge here. And I'm going to move it to the top of the page.
Picture and make it blurry.
Well, it's a very good high quality image to begin with, yeah. And so now once I have it on there, look at what else I can do. This is cool. If I click on Format Options, see there's adjustments. So I can adjust the transparency, make it sort of fade out a little bit. If you don't want to do that, maybe recolor it. Look here. Ooh. Okay.
How did you do that?
All right. Click on it. Pay attention, Megan.
Sorry.
All right. Then we go Format Options, right? And then you're going to see the Recolor option right there. And I chose Sepia, which is down there at the very bottom. And these are some of the features that you can play around with and waste a lot of time. But if you were going for a certain look in your presentation, this would be the way you achieve it. You do have the controls in front of you. Okay? Okay. Of course, if you have a picture that's inside your Google Drive, if you wanted to add that, you can do that as well. You click on Insert, Image, and you're just going to say Drive. Okay, it'll pull up some of the recent images I've used. So here's one, the Alcoa Tech logo. I'll click on it and I'll choose Insert, and there it is. All right, so any graphic file inside your drive you can add, or if it happens to be on your computer, just go Insert, Image, Upload from Computer. All right, so there's a number of ways you can bring them in. All right, beyond that, you can also add audio and video. So if you're teaching a lesson and maybe want to do the presentation where a student touches or clicks on something, it makes a sound or it plays a video, you can do that as well. You have to bring the sound in. So if it's a sound, it has to be an MP3 file, and it has to already be inside your Google Drive. All right? So I've already got some audio files inside my drive. All right. Here's one, an audio file example, and that was one of the things that I had you download. If it won't let you upload it, it has to be in your drive for this to work. All right, so if I choose it and then click Select, you're going to see that it's going to drop the audio file in here. All right, and then if I click Play, so this is just a little graphic representing your sound. All right, you can move that anywhere in your presentation. You have some options. If you choose over here on the right, you can have it play whenever you click it, or automatically when someone arrives at the slide. You can also choose to have it looped. All right, so you'll see those options when you choose the audio file and then go to Format Options. You'll see them right here. Okay. All right. And we can get rid of it by just selecting it and striking the delete key. You can also add video files. Do it exactly the same way. Click Insert, only this time you're going to say Video. All right. You can grab a video from YouTube if you know the URL. You could search for one. Or you could pull a video from inside your Google Drive. All right. I've got several videos here I could potentially add. Here's one. The Earth. I'll just choose it and then say Select, and it'll pull the video in. Here we are. Now, after I've brought in the video, I can determine whether or not I want it to play right when I click it, or if it's a longer video, I can actually go to a certain point in the video. like maybe in this case 10 seconds into the video, and I can say I want it to start at 10 seconds in. See that? That could be very handy, right? Especially, Mr. Gilmore, if you were watching a YouTube video and you say, this part right here, but I don't want to have to spend the time searching for it or finding it again. You could set that up on the back end, and then it'd be ready for your class.
Or like a song.
Yeah.
Or like you're looking at
Yeah, a song or a performance that's online. Yeah, so whether or not you chose this as a file inside your drive or a YouTube video, your playback options work exactly the same way. Okay? So, and I'm just going to quickly demo with a YouTube video. So back here, I've got the training media. Let me click on that. Yeah, I've got a YouTube link. All right, here's the address of the YouTube video. Let me go ahead and select that and copy it. Then I'll come back here. Okay, click Insert, Video. Insert video. Yes, by URL. And I can paste the YouTube address right there. Select it. And there's the YouTube video. I mean, that is really easy. You need me to do that again, or you got it? Got it? Okay.
You do.
Yeah, and what's great about the fact when you add these, it embeds it right there in your slide. There's no clicking on the link and then it takes you out of your presentation and opens a browser and then it messes you up. It's really an easy process here. Okay? All right, let me get rid of that. Sharing your presentation is the same that you would see in any of the other Google Workspace applications. You just simply click the share button here. First, you got to give it a name, right? And then you'll see your share options. All right, just insert the name of the person you want to share it with or the group. Or if you want to just share out a link where people can access it on their own, maybe via email, you can set it to maybe people with Alcoa City Schools email addresses. And then you just copy that link. And then you can send that out. Just like a Google Doc, it works exactly the same way. You need to determine whether or not you want them to be an editor or a viewer. In most cases, if it's a presentation you just want them to see, you're going to use the viewer option. Okay? There is a way that you can share a forced copy link. All right, and this is a little bit beyond the basic, but it's very useful, and I've had others share it with me a few years ago, and I thought it's a pretty good tip. So normally, whenever you share out something or make it available to a group of people, you're going to click share, right? And then you're going to say, all right, anyone with a link. All right, and then you can copy that link. All right, you send out the link and they get it. So that takes them to the presentation. But what if you want to send them a link to where they can have a file that they automatically own? It becomes theirs. Watch this. This is very useful. So I copied the link. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to paste it up here. And right at the very end, you see where it says edit? I know it's a little hard to see. Can you see that, Megan? All right. I'm going to delete that edit and I'm just going to type in copy. Now, if I select that address, copy, and open up a new tab, and I send that to people, what's going to happen is they're going to see this. And when they click make a copy, the file that I shared automatically now is in their drive. They own a copy of it. All right. So that's you're sharing a forced copy there. Okay, got to move quickly here. We're starting to run out of time. There's some more things that you can do with Google Slides, and I want to show you where you can get to some of those add-ons. What you're going to do is click on the Extensions menu right up here at the top, and you can see I have several extensions already installed. But if you don't have any, basically an extension or an add-on is going to allow your Google Slides to do more than what it does on its own. Makes it more powerful. Alright, so if you click Add-ons, you can say Get Add-ons, and look at what will come up. Lots of things that you can click on, install. Oh, here's one, music snippets. Music notation and tablature snippets for your Google Workspace accounts. That could be useful. There's some in there for math as well. And this list inside here has really grown since it was first made available. So installing one of these add-ons is as simple as just clicking on it and then choose individual install, and then you've got it. And then you'll find it by going back to extensions, and then you just click on it over here. One of my favorites I've got is the insert icon for slides and docs. Here's one. And what this one does is it opens the little sidebar on the right, and I can search for icons on the fly, and I can change the color of them and add them to my presentation. Really easy to do. Okay. If you teach different grade levels, you might have one presentation and certain slides you only want one class to see, and the next class that comes in, you don't want them to see those slides. So there's a neat little feature inside here that will allow you to hide slides. So watch and see what that looks like. Notice over on the left-hand side, you have these little controls down here at the bottom. If you go to Grid View, this is going to lay out all of your slides in front of you. And you can see all of them at once. You can see the little plus and minus symbol down at the bottom, so you can zoom out and zoom in on your entire presentation. So let's say you're looking through all these and you say, oh, you know what, I want my first period class to see the first 6. My second period class, I don't want them to see slide 6. So what you do is you click on the slide, and then if you control click on it, all right, you can say skip slide. Then whenever you do that presentation, you've not deleted the slide, it just automatically skips over it whenever you're in presentation mode. All right? And to get back to the normal view, just click on your little icon on the lower left-hand side, and you're back here. And you can see that it's going to show a little eye icon over here on the left. That means it's going to be skipped. And of course, to start your slideshow, you're just going to click on the slideshow button right here, and it will present it. And then to get out of it, strike the escape key. Now notice beside that start slideshow button, you have some options. You have presenter view, start from the beginning, or present on another screen. Now I've created a couple videos here that I'm going to play because it's sort of hard to demonstrate how this works when you're doing a presentation and you're also streaming it live. All right? But before we get into that, 2 last things I want to show you, and that is downloading your presentation. So if you click on the File menu, you can see you have the option to download it. Any of your slides, you can save it as a graphic file, or if maybe you have a colleague in another district that isn't a Google Workspace environment, you could save this as a PowerPoint presentation. See that? Also from the File menu, you can move it to the trash, you can rename it, you can move it, do a lot of other things. This version history, that's very useful as well, because it allows you to go back to any point in time and restore a version that you maybe want to get back to. All right, so if you chose that, go see version history. It's going to show you all the dates that you've worked on it over on the right, and you just click on the version that you want to go back to. Yeah, that could come in handy at some point. All right, presenting, downloading. Okay, speaker notes, captions, and laser pointer. Let me show you what these look like. All right, so I'm going to go back to the training media resource folder here, and let's see. I don't have this on the agenda, but I do want us to watch it. All right, Google Slides Q&A. This is a phenomenal tool here. I'm going to play it for us. And what this allows you to do is to open up your presentation for folks to ask questions during your presentation. And their questions will actually appear on the presentation slides in real time. Watch how this works. Let me pull this up here. All right. I'm going to maximize it, and I hope we'll be able to hear. To begin, make sure your computer is connected to an external display with an HDMI cable. In Google Slides Presenter View, the Presenter View window will appear on your primary display, and your slideshow will appear on the extended display. Make sure your Mac settings are correct. Go to System Preferences and then Displays, and then from here click Display Settings. For your computer, make sure that is set as the main display. The external monitor should be set as the extended display option. Now that everything is set up correctly, you can control your presentation from your computer screen, and your audience will see the slideshow on the secondary screen. To begin a live Q&A session during your presentation, click the slideshow menu and then Presenter View. As you can see, you can navigate back and forth from one slide to the next. Click Audience Tools, and then click Start New. When you do this, a web address will appear on every slide of your slide to the next. Navigate back and forth from one slide to the next. Click Audience Tools, and then click Start New. When you do this, a web address will appear on every slide of your presentation. As a presenter, you can choose to accept questions from anyone inside or outside your organization. Have your audience members enter the web address of the question page that appears at the top of your presentation. Once on this page, they can ask their question by typing it in the text field. Then click Submit. The presenter will see the question and can choose whether to present it to the entire audience. They can hide it as well. Everybody else can see it. And as the person who submitted the question, others can also vote on that, give it thumbs up or thumbs down. All right, and they can vote on it anonymously too, if they're a little shy. All right, so that's great if you're speaking to a large group of individuals and want some real-time feedback during your presentation. All right, then we also have the laser pointer. Let me show you what that looks like. Google Slides has a built-in laser pointer. To utilize this feature, during a live presentation, move your cursor over the presentation screen, click the three-dot menu, and then select Turn on the laser pointer. Move your cursor around and it will act just like a laser. To turn it off, click the three-dot menu again and choose Turn off laser pointer. You can add closed captions to your live Google Slides presentation. On the presentation screen, click the three-dot menu and then Caption Preferences, toggle Captions. Begin speaking. How many languages do you need to know to communicate with the rest of the world? Words will appear on the screen. To disable it, click the three-dot menu once more, go back to Caption Preferences, and toggle Captions. All right? And one last thing, and then we're going to call it quits, and that is speaker notes. So if you're giving a presentation, you can have your notes appear in front of you. Watch how this works. You just enter your notes down there at the bottom of slides, and when you start your presentation, go to Presenter View. Those are going to appear in your little window that appears on only your monitor. You can be going through your presentations. They only see the slide, you see your notes. And if it's too hard to read, you can increase the size there for yourself. Okay? All right. We threw quite a bit at you. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming. There's lots and lots of features here, and to learn it, you really just got to play around with it. Of course, I'm a resource for you. Take advantage of me anytime you want. Book me an appointment. I'll come show you how things work. Make sure you go back to the Google Doc here and click on Training Certificate at this point, and then click the link right below it, and then complete this quick form. It'll just take you a second to do. Enter your name, the date. The session title today was Google Slides. 1 hour. Submit that, and then you'll get a PDF in your email with this certificate. And you can present it as proof that you fulfilled the 1 hours of worth in-service credit. Any questions, Megan?
No.
You got it all?
No.
No? Was it making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just
Okay.
a lot. Like I'll have to the presenter thing where you can actually see the speaker notes. Like I've used speaker notes before, but then I have to print off my slides to be able to see what I've written. I didn't realize that's how you would actually use them when you're presenting.
That's
I didn't
how.
know that was there.
Yeah, that's how we've done it before. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, we had a presentation in the Lyceum, the beginning of the year meeting. I think I spoke on it. Michael Earhart, a couple others from Tech did, and that's how we set up the presentation. We had the notes right in front of us, and the presentation running on the back of the
Even
screen.
in high school, when we would do presentations in class, we would use speaker notes, but have to print everything off because you can see it if you're actually presenting.
Yeah, you don't have to.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't have to. Mr. Gilmore, you have any questions?
I do. It's not,
Yeah.
It's sort of related, but with the laser pointer, is that available to use in other formats if I'm teaching something else?
Oh, well, that particular feature is specific only to slides.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in docs. I will say that the mobile version of slides, you can install that on your phone. It allows you to do presentations from your phone, and it includes a drawing tool, an annotator tool. So you can actually write on your phone, and it will appear on your presentation.
Okay.
So they kicked it up a notch there on the mobile version.
I used to